I walked into that heart specialist with no symptoms. Simply the fact that my friend had died unexpectedly from heart attack was the motivating factor for me to go there. It was quite a shocking experience to get that news. So the aim was to go and get checked out and see if there was any issues with my life. Went to the doctor and had a scan done. It showed up 80% blockages in my main arterial to the heart. So that was, whoa, what's going on here? I never dreamed that I would be in that position. Went to a heart specialist and he kept monitoring me. He just wanted to investigate how I was going to progress over the next few months by changing my lifestyle.
Well, I was breathless, but I didn't take any notice of that because I thought it was old age, lack of exercise and overweight. Walking up from the shops, I'd have to stop 2 or 3 times and then I'd have to lie down for 10 or 15 minutes when I got home. But it was when my brother drew my attention to it, I started to think, gosh, I think there's something wrong, you know what I mean? My brother has 13 stents and has a coronary artery bypass. And both my parents had cardiac arrests. And my father died of a cardiac arrest at 61. So that started the investigations.
I went off to my GP about a persistent cough. He sent me for a CT scan, and the CT scan showed up shadows around my heart that the radiologist noted, and then packed off to the cardiologist, who, with him, I did a stress test and an ECG, and he said, we're going to have a look and do an angiogram. And he warned me that I may well need a bypass. But he wouldn't know until he went in during the angiogram. So it was a bit of a shock that I needed it, that I needed to have a coronary investigation. And I'd never expected that to happen to me.
And I had an echo stress cardiogram, and I couldn't complete the treadmill, and I was breathless. Then went on to have a CAT scan coronary artery angiogram, and that showed extensive coronary artery disease. So my cardiologist rang me again and said, you'll need an angiogram. Come and see me and we'll organise it.
Went to Europe, had a great time, came back, and my heart specialist suggested I do a stress test. And I'd found that I'd actually deteriorated. He suggested that we do a further test, which was an angiogram in the hospital, and sure enough, it had deteriorated. He suggested having a stent at some point, and I said, let's get on with it.
I suppose I was angry that I needed it, and who I was angry at was probably myself, that I hadn't perhaps taken as good care of myself as I should have, although at the time I was exercising in a gym. Still, even now, today, it's a surprise that I needed it.
So I was very grateful that I could have this procedure, and if I had stents, that would be all right, because that would help save my life, because they couldn't save my father's life because it was too long ago.